What if the stories you heard as a child were more than just tales? What if they were echoes of a deeper truth, warnings passed down through generations? These legends shaped cultures, laws, and the way people saw their place in a mysterious, often unforgiving world. Tonight, we journey into the shadows of history to uncover the chilling myths that shaped civilizations. From haunted forests to creatures born from our deepest fears, these stories gave darkness a name and a purpose. They taught us what to fear, and, in doing so, how to survive. Dim the lights. The journey into the legends that haunted our ancestors begins now. In the frozen forests of North America, the Algonquian peoples warned of the Wendigo, a spirit of insatiable hunger. Gaunt, skeletal, and eternally starving, the Wendigo was said to be born from acts of greed or cannibalism. To become a Wendigo was to lose your humanity, consumed by a hunger that only grew with every bite. The myth was a powerful warning. In the harshest winters, selfishness could doom not just the individual, but the entire community. The Wendigo's legend reinforced the taboo of cannibalism and the importance of sharing and moderation. It was a metaphor for greed, an appetite that could never be satisfied. Those who became violent or antisocial were said to have Wendigo sickness, a supernatural explanation for the breakdown of social norms. The only way to destroy a Wendigo was by fire, melting its icy heart, a ritual of purification and a reassertion of communal values. The Wendigo remains a haunting symbol of what happens when we let our darkest desires consume us. It reminds us, sometimes, the most terrifying monsters are the ones we become. In the cold, it's not just our bodies at risk, but our very souls. Beware the hunger within. In Ireland's misty hills, the Banshee's wail was a sound of dread, a spectral cry foretelling death in the family. Sometimes a beautiful mourner, sometimes a terrifying hag, her appearance mattered less than her purpose to announce the inevitable. The Banshee was a bridge between the living and the dead, her cry a chilling reminder of mortality. For ancient Irish families, her presence was both a curse and a mark of noble lineage. The myth gave meaning to loss, transforming sudden death into a fated, almost sacred event. Her wail prepared families for grief, offering a moment to brace for sorrow. In a world without answers for sudden tragedy, the Banshee's legend provided order and premonition. She cried only for certain bloodlines, reinforcing the importance of ancestry and family. Even as Ireland modernized, the Banshee endured, a symbol of cultural identity and shared grief. Her cry is not one of malice, but of inescapable sorrow. She reminds us in our darkest moments we are never truly alone. The spirits of the land mourn with us. Listen closely, the Banshee's lament still echoes. On Scotland's Orkney Islands, the Nucalavi was the stuff of nightmares, a skinless, horse-like demon with a man's torso fused to its back. Its breath, the Mortasheen, spread disease and blight, wilting crops and sickening livestock. The Nucalavi was blamed for every calamity, a personification of nature's wrath and the islanders' deepest fears, its only weakness fresh running water. Streams became lifelines, shaping travel and even the placement of homes. The myth gave the community a tangible enemy, a way to explain the unexplainable. Stories of narrow escapes like Tamas splashing the beast with loch water kept the terror alive. The Nucalavi embodied the duality of the sea, life-giving yet deadly. It was a monster born of isolation and hardship, a reflection of the islanders' struggle against the elements. The legend mapped the landscape with zones of safety and terror. It taught respect for the unpredictable power of nature. The Nucalavi is a grotesque reminder. Sometimes the greatest threats are those we cannot see but can only imagine. In Orkney, the line between land and sea and safety and horror was always thin. Beware what comes from the waves. Deep in Japan's misty mountains, children were warned of the Yamaba, the mountain witch. She appeared as a kindly old woman offering shelter to lost travelers, but her hospitality was a deadly trap. When night fell, her monstrous form emerged, a cannibalistic yokai with a mouth that could stretch across her face. The Yamaba myth kept children close to home and taught villagers to fear the wild and the unknown. The mountains were sacred, but also dangerous, places where social rules did not apply. Yamaba embodied this duality. The wilderness could nurture or destroy. In some tales, she raised heroes or granted blessings, showing that the wild could also be a source of wisdom if respected. Her legend reflected suspicion of women who lived outside traditional norms, turning them into monsters in the popular imagination. The betrayal of her hospitality was a warning. Appearances deceive, and trust can be fatal. The Yamaba endures in Japanese culture, sometimes villain, sometimes anti-hero. Her story is a chilling reminder: never stray too far from the path. In the mountains, kindness may hide a hungry mouth. The old woman in the woods might just be waiting for dinner. In rural Latin America, a modern monster stalks the night, the Chupacabra, or goatsucker. First reported in 1990s Puerto Rico, it left livestock dead, drained of blood through small puncture wounds. Descriptions varied, reptilian and alien-like at first, then morphing into a hairless canine beast. The Chupacabra gave a face to rural anxieties, livelihoods threatened by mysterious deaths. As the legend spread, it adapted, reflecting local fears and the influence of media. Science traced many sightings to sick coyotes with mange, but the myth persisted. The Chupacabra became a symbol of the unknown, a monster for the age of conspiracy and uncertainty. It speaks to our fear of forces beyond our control, genetic experiments, aliens, or something lurking in the dark. Even in a scientific world, we crave monsters to explain the inexplicable. The Chupacabra endures, evolving with our fears. Sometimes the real terror is not what's out there, but what we imagine. Before zombies, the Norse feared the Jogger, undead warriors who rose from their graves with strength and malice. Not mindless but cunning and vengeful, the Jogger haunted the living, growing in size and shape-shifting at will. They trampled livestock, drove people mad, and guarded their burial mounds with supernatural power. The fear of the Jogger shaped burial customs, bodies pinned down, special doors bricked up, all to keep the dead from walking. The myth warned that a life of greed or cruelty could lead to restless, monstrous undeath. The Jogger was both a guardian of treasure and a punishment for evil, a deterrent to grave robbers and a moral lesson. Heroes who fought Jogger in the sagas faced not just monsters, but the darkness of the past and the consequences of vice. The Jogger is a dark mirror of the Norse warrior ideal, powerful, relentless, and corrupted by hatred. It reminds us that the evils we commit in life can haunt us and others long after death. The restless dead are not just a fear of the grave, but a warning to live honorably. In the Norse world, death was not always the end. Sometimes the past rises to claim the living. Beware what you leave behind. In the forests of the Philippines, travelers fear the Tikbalang, a horse-headed trickster spirit. Mischievous and towering, it delights in leading people astray, making them wander in circles for hours. The Tikbalang personifies the bewildering power of the jungle, turning a simple journey into a supernatural ordeal. To pass safely, travelers ask permission aloud, tabi-tabi po, showing respect to the spirits of the woods. If lost, turning your shirt inside out is said to break the spell, amusing the Tikbalang enough to let you go. The myth instills respect for nature, teaching that the forest is a living, enchanted domain. The Tikbalang can be dangerous if angered, sometimes abducting or trampling those who cross it. Yet legends say it can be tamed by plucking a golden hair from its mane, a test of courage and cunning. The Tikbalang is both guardian and trickster, reflecting the beauty and peril of the wild. It reminds us that humility and respect are key to surviving the unknown. Sometimes the solution to being lost is to do the unexpected, and to honor the spirits of the land. The Tikbalang endures as a symbol of the mysterious heart of the forest. In the wild, not all who wander are lost, some are simply being watched. From the wailing Banshee to the flesh-hungry Wendigo, these legends are more than relics. They're reflections of our deepest fears. They reveal what our ancestors valued and how they made sense of a mysterious world. These myths shaped societies, enforced norms, and taught lessons of survival. The monsters may have faded, but the fears remain. We still tell stories to understand the darkness, giving our anxieties a name and a face. What monsters are we creating today? Which legend haunts you? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.